I took the night shift because it paid more, not because I believed in ghosts. That's what I told myself as I signed the contract, as I nodded through the orientation, as I pocketed the keys to a place no one else wanted to watch after dark. Blackridge High had been closed for 8 years, condemned after a fire that officially never spread beyond the east wing, even though the entire second floor was gutted like something had clawed its way through it. The company didn't give me much detail. They didn't need to. Double pay, no experience required, immediate start. People don't ask questions when they're 2 months behind on rent. Still, the rules bothered me. They weren't printed in the handbook. They were handwritten on a yellowing sheet of paper taped inside the security office, like someone had added them after everything else was already decided. There were 9 of them. I didn't read them all at first, just enough to notice they weren't normal. Keep all hallway lights on at all times. Do not enter the east wing after 1:15 a.m. If you hear a bell ring, do not check the source. If a classroom door is open that you remember closing, walk past it. And the last one, written darker than the rest, like the pen had pressed harder into the paper. If you see a student, do not speak to them. I remember laughing under my breath, not because it was funny, but because it felt like a joke someone forgot to finish. Schools don't have students at night. That's the whole point of closing them. Previous guard quit after 3 days, the supervisor had said when he handed me the keys. Didn't give a reason, just left them on the desk and never came back. And you still need someone? I asked. He shrugged. Buildings scheduled for demolition in 6 months. We just need someone to keep squatters out. That was the word he used. Squatters, not trespassers. Not vandals, like people might already be living inside. The first night started quiet, too quiet, actually. I've worked security before, warehouses, parking lots, a hospital once. There's always some kind of background noise, air systems, distant traffic, pipes ticking behind walls. Blackridge had none of that. The silence felt sealed, like the building had been wrapped in something thick and suffocating. I did my first round at 10:30 p.m. The flashlight they gave me was heavier than it needed to be, metal, solid, the kind that could double as a weapon if it had to. My boots echoed down the main corridor, each step bouncing off lockers dented and rusting with age. Most of them were still closed, but a few hung open just enough to suggest they hadn't been touched in years, or that something had touched them recently. Just squatters, I muttered. The words didn't help. The classrooms were exactly what you'd expect. Desks stacked, chalkboards half erased, posters curling at the edges like they were trying to peel themselves off the walls. In room 112, someone had written a date in the corner of the board, March 14th, no year. Under it, in different handwriting. Don't stay late. I moved on. By 11:15, I'd covered the entire first floor. Nothing unusual, no movement, no sounds, no signs of anyone living there. If there were squatters, they were better at hiding than anyone I'd ever dealt with. When I got back to the security office, I finally sat down and read the rules properly, all 9 of them. The first 4 I'd already seen. The 5th said, at exactly midnight, check the gymnasium. Do not be late. The 6th, if you hear footsteps behind you, do not turn around. The 7th, avoid mirrors after 2 a.m. The 8th, if the intercom activates, leave the building immediately. And the 9th, the one written darkest, if you break a rule, do not try to fix it. I stared at that last one longer than I should have. Don't try to fix it, I repeated. Fix what? That was the problem. None of the rules explained themselves. They assumed you already knew what would happen if you didn't follow them. I checked my watch, 11:58 p.m., 2 minutes to midnight. The gym was on the west side, past the cafeteria and down a set of double doors that stuck if you didn't push them hard enough. I grabbed the flashlight and keys, hesitated for just a second, then headed out. Just part of the job, I told myself. The hallway seemed longer this time. Or maybe I was just walking slower. When I reached the cafeteria, I noticed something I hadn't before. The chairs. They weren't stacked neatly like the desks in the classrooms. They were scattered, some pushed back like someone had stood up in a hurry, others turned at odd angles like they'd been moved recently. I stopped, listened. Nothing. Squatters, I said again, softer this time. The double doors to the gym groaned when I pushed them open. The sound echoed across the space inside, bouncing off the high ceiling and polished floor. The smell hit me next. Burnt wood and something faintly metallic underneath it. The fire. This was where it started. I stepped inside, sweeping the flashlight across the bleachers, the scoreboard, the far wall where the wood had warped and blackened from heat. That's when I saw them. Footprints. Not old ones, not dust patterns or faded marks. Clear, fresh, leading from the center of the court toward the far exit. Small, too small to belong to an adult. I felt something tighten in my chest. If you see a student, do not speak to them. The rule surfaced in my mind without permission. There was no one there. I could see the entire gym, empty, and yet a sound, soft. A sneaker squeaking against polished wood. I froze. It came again, closer this time. But there was still no one there. My grip tightened on the flashlight. "Hello?" I called out before I could stop myself. The word echoed, stretching unnaturally long as it bounced off the walls. Then the scoreboard flickered. For a split second, numbers flashed across it. 1:15. Then it went dark again. The squeaking stopped. The silence that followed was heavier than before, like the building was holding its breath. I checked my watch with shaking hands. 12:03 a.m. I was late. And suddenly, I couldn't remember if that had been one of the rules that mattered. I stood there longer than I should have, staring at the dark scoreboard like it might flicker back to life and explain itself. It didn't. The gym stayed silent, empty, harmless in a way that felt rehearsed. Like whatever had made that sound had already stepped back into place, pretending it had never moved at all. "You're fine," I muttered, though my voice came out thinner than I intended. I forced myself to finish the check. Walk the perimeter, shine the light under the bleachers. Look for broken windows, signs of entry, anything that made sense in the real world. My boots echoed too loudly against the floor, each step sounding like it didn't belong to me. The footprints were still there. I crouched beside them, angling the flashlight for a better look. They were clean impressions, not dust disturbed, but something damp pressed into the wood, each one sharply defined. Toes, heel, even the faint outline of tread, barely bigger than my hand, a kid's size. They stopped halfway to the exit. Not faded, not smudged, stopped. Like whoever made them had simply ceased to exist mid-step. I straightened slowly, a cold feeling crawling up the back of my neck. "Not my problem," I said, louder now, forcing the words into something solid. "Check the gym. Done." I turned and walked out, pushing through the double doors harder than necessary. They slammed behind me with a deep, echoing bang that rolled down the hallway like distant thunder. The sound didn't fade right. It lingered. Too long. By the time I reached the cafeteria, the silence had settled again, thick and suffocating. I glanced at the chairs. Same positions, same angles. Nothing moved. Good. Normal. I kept walking. When I got back to the security office, I shut the door and locked it, something I hadn't bothered doing earlier. The click of the lock was small, but it felt important, like drawing a line. Inside, everything was exactly how I'd left it. Desk, chair, flickering monitor showing 4 grainy camera feeds, front entrance, main hallway, parking lot, east wing corridor. I froze. The east wing camera. The image was darker than the others, like the light there wasn't working properly. That wasn't unusual. The building had electrical issues, but something about it felt off. The hallway looked longer. I leaned closer to the monitor. Same lockers, same doors, but stretched. Like the perspective didn't line up. I blinked and it snapped back to normal. "Yeah," I exhaled, rubbing my eyes. "That's enough for one night." I checked the time, 12:17 a.m. The rule: do not enter the east wing after 1:15 a.m. I looked back at the screen. Nothing moved. Still, I reached over and switched that camera feed off. I didn't need to watch that part of the building, not tonight. For the next half hour, nothing happened. I sat in the chair, boots up on the desk, flipping through my phone with no signal, occasionally glancing at the remaining cameras, the normal ones. The safe ones. Front entrance, empty. Parking lot, empty. Main hallway. I leaned forward again. There was a door open, halfway down the hall. Room 118. I was sure I'd closed it earlier. I stared at it, trying to remember. Had I checked that room? Yes. Had the door been open then? No. I would have noticed. The rule surfaced again, uninvited. If a classroom door is open that you remember closing, walk past it. A slow, steady pressure built in my chest. Or I could just go close it, I said under my breath. That made more sense. Doors don't open themselves. Probably bad hinges, air pressure. Old buildings do that. I stood up, paused, then sat back down. No, I said firmly. You walk past it. I wasn't superstitious, but I wasn't stupid either. Rules like that don't get written for no reason. I kept my eyes on the monitor for another minute. The door didn't move. Nothing came out. Eventually, I leaned back again, forcing myself to relax. See? Nothing. My voice sounded steadier now. That's when I heard it. Footsteps behind me. Slow, deliberate. One step, then another. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. The rule hit me instantly. If you hear footsteps behind you, do not turn around. My body locked up, every muscle going rigid as the sound came closer. Step, step, right up to the door, right behind me. I could feel it. Not hear, feel. Like a presence just outside the edge of my vision, waiting. I stared straight ahead at the monitor, my reflection faintly visible in the glass. For a second, I thought I saw something move behind me. I squeezed my eyes shut. Nope. The footsteps stopped. Silence again. I waited. 10 seconds. 20. 30. Nothing. Slowly, carefully, I turned my head. The room was empty. The door was still closed, locked. I let out a shaky breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Building noises, I said quickly. Pipes. Expansion. Whatever. Even as I said it, I knew that wasn't true. Pipes don't walk. I stood up, restless now, and paced the small office. Sitting still felt worse, like waiting for something to happen instead of staying ahead of it. I checked my watch. 1:02 a.m., 13 minutes until the East Wing rule kicked in. Not that I planned on going anywhere near it. Still, my eyes drifted to the Vyključeni camera. Just for a second. I reached over, hesitated, then turned it back on. The screen flickered to life. The East Wing corridor appeared again, dim and grainy. At first, everything looked normal. Then I saw her, standing at the far end of the hallway. A girl, long dark hair, wearing what looked like a school uniform. Though the details were hard to make out through the static, she wasn't moving, just standing there, facing the camera. My throat went dry. If you see a student, do not speak to them. The rule echoed in my head, louder than before. I leaned closer to the screen, my heart starting to pound. How did you even get in there? I whispered, as if she could hear me, as if that mattered. The image glitched, just for a frame. And suddenly, she was closer, not walking, not transitioning, just closer. Halfway down the hall now, still facing the camera, still perfectly still. A cold wave of realization hit me. She wasn't walking toward the camera. She was appearing closer, skipping the space in between. I stumbled back from the desk. Nope. No. The monitor crackled. The image distorted again, and she was gone. The hallway empty. Like nothing had ever been there. I stared at the screen, my pulse hammering in my ears. Then, slowly, the audio feed kicked in. A soft hum, followed by a click. The intercom. The click echoed through the speakers like a switch being flipped somewhere deep inside the building. For a second, nothing followed it. Just that low electrical hum, steady and unnatural, like the system had woken up after years of being left alone. Then came the breathing. Faint, close, not through the room, not behind me, but through the intercom itself, like whoever was on the other end was leaning directly into the microphone. My stomach dropped. Rule 8. If the intercom activates, leave the building immediately. I didn't move. Not yet. The breathing continued, uneven and wet, dragging in and out like lungs struggling to remember how they worked. I stared at the speaker mounted in the corner of the office, waiting for a voice, a word, anything that made sense. Nothing came, just breath. Then, a whisper. Hello? It was soft, childlike, and it was coming from every speaker at once, down the halls, in the classrooms, inside the walls. I heard it echo faintly beyond the office, layered over itself like multiple voices trying to say the same word at the same time. My body finally reacted. I grabbed the keys, the flashlight, nearly knocked the chair over as I rushed to the door. Just leave, I muttered. That's the rule. You leave. Simple, clear, final. I unlocked the door with shaking hands and pulled it open and froze. The main hallway outside wasn't empty anymore. The door to room 118 was still open, but now there was someone standing inside, not fully visible. Just a shape, a figure, partially obscured by the frame of the door, like it was standing just out of sight on purpose, waiting. I felt my grip tighten on the flashlight. Don't engage, I whispered. Don't speak. Another rule. If you see a student, do not speak to them. The intercom crackled again behind me. Don't go. The voice was clearer now, closer. I swallowed hard and stepped out into the hallway. The air felt different, heavier, like walking into a place that didn't want me there anymore. I kept my eyes forward, not on the open door, not on the figure inside, just straight ahead, toward the exit at the far end. One step, then another. My boots sounded too loud again, each one echoing down the corridor in sharp, hollow bursts. The intercom followed me. Please. It hurts. Help me. The voices overlapped now, no longer just one, dozens, maybe more. All whispering, all close, all inside the walls. I passed room 118. Didn't look, didn't slow down. But something moved in my peripheral vision, a shift, like the figure had leaned closer as I walked by. I clenched my jaw and kept going. Almost there, I muttered. The exit sign glowed faintly ahead, a dull red light cutting through the darkness. Halfway down the hall, the lights flickered, once, twice, then steadied. I didn't stop, didn't think, just moved. Behind me, a door creaked open. Then another, a chain reaction. Classroom doors lining the hallway slowly pulling open, one by one, as if something unseen was moving down the corridor behind me, unlocking them as it went. The intercom voices shifted, no longer pleading. Now, laughing, soft at first, then louder. Layered, wrong. I broke into a run. The exit was right there. 10 steps. 5. My hand hit the push bar, and nothing happened. The door didn't move. I shoved harder, still nothing. Come on. Locked. From the outside, a cold realization settled in. That wasn't part of the rules. The laughter stopped. Silence crashed down all at once, thick and absolute. Slowly, I turned around. I shouldn't have, but I did. The hallway was full. Students, dozens of them, standing in the doorways, filling the spaces between lockers, lining the walls, all facing me, all completely still. Their uniforms were wrong, burned, torn, stained with something too dark to be shadows. Some looked intact. Others weren't, faces pale, eyes not empty, watching, too aware. My chest tightened as I backed up against the locked door. No, I whispered. No, this isn't. One of them moved, just one. The girl from the camera, standing near the center of the hall. She tilted her head slightly, like she was studying me. Then she smiled. Too wide, too slow. If you see a student, do not speak to them. The rule repeated in my head, louder than everything else. I pressed my back harder against the door, my hand still gripping the useless handle. Okay, I said under my breath. Think, rules. There had to be something else, something I missed. The intercom. Leave immediately. I tried. The door wouldn't open. So what then? If you break a rule, do not try to fix it. My breath caught. I had broken one. In the gym, I spoke. Hello? The word echoed back into my memory, sharp and irreversible. I felt something shift in the hallway. The students leaned forward, not stepping, not walking, just closer, without moving their feet. Like the space between us was shrinking instead. My pulse spiked. Don't fix it, I whispered. Don't fix it. So what do you do? Nothing. That didn't feel like an option anymore. The girl took another not step forward. Her mouth opened slightly. And when she spoke, her voice didn't come from her alone. It came from everywhere. You're late. The scoreboard. 1:15. My blood ran cold. The East Wing. I checked my watch. 1:16 a.m. Something slammed somewhere deep in the building. A distant, heavy impact that reverberated through the floors beneath my feet. The students reacted instantly. Every head turned, not toward me, but toward the far end of the hallway, toward the direction of the East Wing. Their expressions changed. Not anger, not hunger. Fear. Real fear. The girl's smile vanished. Too late, she whispered. And then the lights went out. Complete darkness swallowed the hallway. The kind that doesn't fade in. It just arrives, all at once. Around me, I heard movement. Fast, chaotic. Not footsteps. Something else. Scraping, crawling. Too many directions at once. I fumbled for my flashlight, nearly dropping it before I managed to switch it on. The beam cut through the dark, empty hallway. No students. No open doors. Nothing. Like it had all been erased. My breathing came fast, uneven. What the hell? Another sound. Closer now, from behind me. Wet. Dragging. I turned, and the door behind me slowly creaked open. On its own. Cold air rushed past me from outside. Fresh. Real. Escape. I didn't hesitate. I ran. Out into the night. Into the empty parking lot. Not stopping until I reached my car. My hands shook so badly I dropped the keys twice before I finally got the door open. I got inside, locked it, started the engine. The headlights flicked on, illuminating the front of the school, all dark, all silent, like nothing had happened. I sat there, breathing hard, staring at the building, waiting for movement, for anything. Nothing came. After a minute, I looked down at my hands, still shaking, still real. Just one night, I said. That's all. But deep down, I already knew. I wasn't done with Blackridge High, and it wasn't done with me. I didn't go back the next night. I told myself I wouldn't. Didn't sleep much either. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that hallway again. Those students, the way they watched, the way they moved without moving, and that voice, "You're late." It didn't sound angry. It sounded certain, like something had already been decided. By morning, I had a choice. Quit. Walk away, pretend none of it was real, or go back, finish the job, collect the money I desperately needed, and hope I could follow the rules better this time. I wish I could say I made the smart choice. But desperation doesn't care about smart. I was back in the parking lot by 9:50 p.m. The building looked smaller in daylight, less threatening. Just brick, broken windows, faded paint. Easy to believe the night before had been stress, imagination, some kind of breakdown. That illusion died the moment I stepped inside. The air was the same, still, heavy, wrong. I went straight to the security office. Didn't do a round, didn't check anything. Just sat down and stared at the rules taped to the wall, 9 of them. I read each one slowly, carefully, like they might change if I looked away. Don't break them, I said quietly. That's it. That's how you get through this. Simple. Until it isn't. The shift started quietly again. No sounds, no movement. Just that same suffocating silence pressing in from every direction. Midnight came. This time I was ready. I checked the gym at exactly 12 o'clock. No footprints, no sounds, no scoreboard flicker. Just an empty room that smelled faintly of smoke. I left immediately. Didn't linger. Didn't speak. Back in the office, I kept my eyes on the monitors but avoided the East Wing completely. I didn't even turn that camera on. 1:10 a.m., 5 minutes before the cutoff. That's when the power flickered. Once, twice, then stabilized. I stared at the lights overhead, my pulse starting to climb. Stay put, I told myself. You don't need to go anywhere. The building disagreed. A loud bang echoed from somewhere down the hall, then another. Closer. Metal on metal, like lockers slamming shut. I gripped the edge of the desk. Not my problem. Another slam, then another. Moving. Getting closer. I stood up slowly. Every instinct screamed at me to stay in the office. But something else, something quieter, colder, told me that sitting still hadn't saved me last time. The noise stopped. Right outside the door, silence. Then, a knock. 3 slow taps. I froze. If you hear footsteps behind you, do not turn around. That wasn't this. This was different. Another knock. More impatient. I stepped closer to the door despite myself. Who's there? I asked before I could stop. The second the words left my mouth, I felt it. That same shift. That same wrongness. I had done it again. Broken another rule. Silence answered me. Then, a voice. My voice. From the other side. Who's there? Perfectly mimicked. Same tone. Same hesitation. My blood ran cold. I backed away from the door slowly. Nope. I whispered. Not doing this. The handle began to turn, slowly, deliberately. I didn't wait. I grabbed the flashlight and bolted out the back exit of the office, into the hallway leading away from the sound. My boots pounded against the floor as I moved, faster than before, heart hammering in my chest. Behind me, the office door creaked open, then slammed. The lights flickered again and went out. Darkness swallowed everything. I didn't stop running. Didn't think, just moved. The flashlight beam bounced wildly with each step, barely illuminating the path ahead. Left turn, main corridor, exit. A figure stood at the end of the hall, blocking the door. Tall. Too tall. Not a student, not human. It bent slightly, like it didn't quite fit in the space it occupied. Its arms hung too long, its head tilted at an unnatural angle, watching me, waiting. I slowed, just for a second, and that was enough. It moved, not walking, not running, just there. Closer. The air around it seemed to stretch, distort, like reality didn't want to hold its shape near it. I stumbled back. No, the rules. Think. There had to be something, anything. My mind raced, flipping through them. Lights, doors, students, intercom, mirrors. Avoid mirrors after 2 a.m. I checked my watch. 2:03. Too late. The thing tilted its head further and smiled. A mirror. The hallway. Lockers. Metal. Reflective. I raised the flashlight, angling it toward the nearest locker door. The beam hit the surface and reflected. Not me. Not the hallway. Something else. A classroom. Burned. Destroyed. Filled with desks melted into the floor. And in the center, that thing. Standing still. Not moving. Not alive. I turned the light back toward the hallway. The creature was closer, but slower now. Like it was dragging against something unseen. I understood. Don't fix it. I whispered it out loud. Then I made a decision. Not smart, not safe, but final. I stepped toward the lockers, toward the reflection. The thing reacted instantly, jerking forward in a sudden violent motion, and stopped, like it hit a wall. I kept going. One step, then another. The reflection grew clearer, the burned classroom sharper, the thing inside it unmoving, trapped. I reached out and touched the locker. The world snapped. Sound vanished. Light twisted, and suddenly, I was somewhere else. The burned classroom, silent, still, real. I turned slowly. The creature stood across from me, frozen, like a statue. I exhaled. Got you. Behind me, something shifted, soft, familiar. I turned. The girl stood in the doorway, the same one from before, watching. No smile this time, just calm. "You're learning," she said. Her voice was normal now, human. "Learning what?" I asked. "How to stay," she replied. A cold weight settled in my chest. "No," I said. "I'm leaving." She shook her head slightly. "You already broke the rules." The room creaked. The walls seemed to breathe. "You don't leave," she continued. "You replace." My stomach dropped. "The last guard," I whispered. She nodded. "Someone always stays." I backed away, shaking my head. "No, that's not how this works. It is now." The classroom door slammed shut. The lights died, and in the reflection of the blackened window, I saw myself standing in the hallway, still waiting for the next person to walk in.